Imagine losing a whopping $125 million due to a simple unit conversion error. Yes, you heard it right. This isn't a plot from a science fiction movie, but a real event that took place in the annals of space exploration. The year was 1999, and the organization was none other than NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration of the United States. The Mars Climate Orbiter, a robotic space probe designed to study Mars's atmosphere, climate, and surface changes, was a flagship project of NASA. It was a dream, a vision, and a mission that held the promise of revolutionizing our understanding of the red planet. But alas, the Mars Climate Orbiter never accomplished its mission. It never got to conduct its studies or send back valuable data. Instead, it disintegrated into thin Martian air, literally due to a catastrophic navigation error that was, believe it or not, caused by a simple unit conversion oversight. Here's what happened. The engineering team from Lockheed Martin used imperial units of measurement, as was their standard practice. However, the team from NASA was using the metric system. This miscommunication, this failure to convert units correctly, led to the spacecraft approaching Mars at a lower altitude than planned. The result? The orbiter was too close to the planet and couldn't withstand the atmospheric stress. The loss of the Mars Climate Orbiter was not just about the $125 million that went up in smoke. It was a setback to the scientific community, a disruption of years of research and planning, and a blow to the morale of the teams involved. It was a reminder that even in the age of advanced technology, a small oversight can lead to monumental consequences. This costly blunder serves as a stark reminder of the importance of precision in science and technology. In the grand scheme of cosmic exploration, the story of the Mars Climate Orbiter is a testament to human fallibility. But, as we shall see in the next scenes, it's not the only expensive mistake in history. Stay tuned as we venture further into the costly errors of the past. The United States isn't the only country that has made a costly mistake. Let's take a world tour of some of the most expensive errors. Our first stop is Sweden, in the 17th century. The pride of the Swedish Navy, the Vasa ship, was a marvel of engineering and art. However, it was also a prime example of overambition and poor planning. On its maiden voyage in 1628, the Vasa ship sank in the harbor of Stockholm, just minutes after setting sail. Why, you ask? The ship was top-heavy with too many cannons, and when a gust of wind hit, it tipped and water rushed in. The cost of this mistake was immense, both in terms of the loss of life and financial loss. The ship, which took 2 years to construct and used more than 1,000 oak trees, was a significant drain on the Swedish treasury. Next, we travel across the Atlantic to the United States, landing in the state of Washington. It's the early 20th century and the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, then the third longest suspension bridge in the world, is about to become a lesson in the importance of engineering principles. Just 4 months after its completion in 1940, the bridge collapsed in a windstorm due to a phenomenon known as aeroelastic flutter. The financial loss was staggering, with the bridge's construction cost being around $6 million, equivalent to around $111 million today when adjusted for inflation. Lastly, we take a sobering trip to the former Soviet Union. The Chernobyl nuclear power plant, located in Ukraine, was the site of the world's worst nuclear disaster. In April of 1986, a safety test gone wrong led to an explosion and subsequent fire that released large amounts of radioactive particles into the atmosphere. The immediate cost of the disaster was estimated to be around $200 billion, but the long-term costs, in terms of human life, health, and environmental damage, are incalculable. These examples from different corners of the globe, differing centuries, and diverse sectors underline the universal truth that mistakes can be costly. However, they also highlight another, more optimistic truth. We learn from our mistakes. The sinking of the Vasa led to changes in shipbuilding. The collapse of the Tacoma Narrows Bridge revolutionized the understanding of bridge aerodynamics, and the Chernobyl disaster resulted in significant improvements in nuclear safety protocols. These mistakes, as costly as they were, have provided valuable lessons for the future. The repercussions of these expensive mistakes aren't limited to financial loss. They have far-reaching consequences that affect us all. Consider for a moment the infamous sinking of the Titanic in 1912. Yes, it was a financial disaster, with the loss of the ship costing around $7.5 million, a staggering amount for the time. But the real tragedy was the loss of over 1,500 lives. The catastrophe led to significant changes in maritime regulations, including the requirement for enough lifeboats for all passengers and crew, underscoring that the domino effect of this mistake was both deadly and transformative. Or take the Chernobyl disaster of 1986. The direct economic cost of the nuclear meltdown is estimated to be a colossal $200 billion. However, the human cost and environmental damage are immeasurable. Thousands of people died, and millions were affected by radiation. And let's not forget the vast exclusion zone, an area rendered uninhabitable for possibly hundreds of years. This disaster drastically altered global perspectives on nuclear energy, prompting stricter safety regulations and changes in energy policies. And then there's the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in 2010. Apart from the $40 billion in penalties and cleanup costs, the environmental damage was catastrophic. Millions of gallons of oil spilled into the Gulf of Mexico, devastating marine life and coastal ecosystems. This disaster spurred changes in offshore drilling regulations and practices, underscoring the domino effect of this mistake on both the environment and industry practices. These examples illustrate the cascading effects of costly mistakes. They show how a single error can lead to loss of life, environmental devastation, and shifts in regulations and policies that have a global impact. So, while the financial cost of these mistakes is staggering, it's the ripple effect of these blunders that truly underscores their magnitude. From these errors, we learn that a single mistake can have a ripple effect, causing unforeseen consequences that extend far beyond the initial blunder. History, as they say, is our greatest teacher. So what can we learn from these expensive errors? Well, for starters, the importance of meticulous planning cannot be overstated. For instance, consider the collapse of the South Sea Company in 1720. A financial disaster that rocked England. This was a result of speculative investments without a robust plan. It led to a devastating economic crash known as the South Sea Bubble. This historical event teaches us the value of detailed and thorough planning in any venture, whether it's a business project or a nation's economy. Then there's the lesson of proper communication. The Mars Climate Orbiter's loss in 1999 is a perfect example. NASA lost this $425 million spacecraft because of a simple miscommunication, a mismatch of metric and imperial units. The incident underscores the crucial role clear and accurate communication plays in any operation, especially those involving complex systems. And let's not forget about rigorous testing. The sinking of the Titanic in 1912, one of the deadliest peacetime maritime disasters in history, serves as a grim reminder. Despite being touted as unsinkable, the ship met with a tragic end due to a combination of factors, including inadequate safety measures and insufficient lifeboats. This catastrophe underscores the significance of exhaustive testing and preparedness for unexpected scenarios. These historical blunders show us that while ambition and innovation are vital, they must be tempered with careful planning, clear communication, and thorough testing. Remember, it's not just about making strides forward, but also about making sure those strides don't lead us off a cliff. As we continue to progress and innovate, let's remember these lessons from history to avoid repeating the same costly mistakes. Every mistake, no matter how costly, offers a chance for learning and growth. As we've journeyed through history, we've seen the price tags of errors across the globe, from the United States to Russia, from the 19th century to just a few years ago. The domino effect of these blunders has been monumental, but so too have the lessons we've gleaned. Each misstep, each miscalculation, has been an opportunity to pause, to examine, and ultimately to grow. We've learned to tread more carefully in the realm of economics, to think twice before we leap into environmental decisions, and to consider the long-term impact of our actions. In the end, it's not about the cost of the mistake, but the value of the lesson. Our past blunders serve as reminders of our fallibility, but also as stepping stones towards a more cautious and conscious future.